Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tanisha. This is Fun and Budget, and today we are here with Tasha of the Major Change Group in Nashville, Tennessee at Dave Ramsey Studios. Exciting. Talk about a dream come true. Talk about a dream. First of all, this studio is absolutely beautiful. Yes. We are here and actually everybody is out on holiday. So there's no live sessions going on, but this place is like a museum. So even if there's no sessions going on, there is still a lot to do and see to keep you occupied. It's well worth the trip. This is like about 25 minutes outside of Nashville. And they have a complimentary bakery shop with coffee, lattes, cookies, free 99, all of that, okay? So in today's video, we are actually doing a collab. Yes. Tasha is going to interview me, right? And I had interviewed Tasha. So if you want to see that interview, go over to her channel, support, subscribe, and check out the video, all of that, because y'all know we are all about community and we are all about support. And so without further ado, all right, talk to me.
Tanisha. Okay, now tell us, how did you get started with Dave Ramsey? How did you hear about Dave Ramsey?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I heard about Dave Ramsey, I want to say it might have been like 10 or 12 years ago.
Ooh, okay.
There were some people in my office, guys, Caucasian, and I say all of that because they would talk about this stuff and it just did not seem like it applied to me. It seemed like some good boy club type.
Really?
Girl, it sounds so crazy to me. They were talking about being debt free, and for me it sounded like they never spent money. They never ate anything. They would bring their lunches in from home. And it just felt like, who wants to do that? That sounds struggling. That sounds poor. Just to be out of debt? It's not that serious.
Okay.
So it did not resonate with me.
And now, at what point did it resonate with you?
You know what? I'm going to say this. And I'm going to say because they didn't look like me. This is why I think representation is important. So because they didn't look like me, it felt like it wasn't for me, right? Okay. The point that it resonated with me was about 3 years later. So sad. 3 years later, I was looking at my own finances and I was saying I made a lot of money around that time I made about $135,000 on my day job. So I made about $135,000 on my day job, but yeah, I had nothing to show for it. I had debt. Okay. I really didn't have no savings. I was barely. I would contribute to 401k, and then the next month I would say, oh, I need this money, and I would stop. And these were companies that had matches. But everything felt like I need my money now.
Now, let me ask you this, because you said at one point, now you said at this point you are a high earner, making over $135,000, and you still had nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show for it.
Because a lot of times people think that you have to make a lot of money to be able to do things, but do you feel like with the Dave Ramsey plan that it matters how much money you make?
Absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. Because once again, this is the thing. On my channel, people come and they see what I made. And right now I'm over 200,000, right?
Oh, girl.
But they see what I made and then they say, well, of course this is easy for you because you make a lot. But guess what? Out of most of my friends, I make less than my friends. They make more, a lot of my friends make more than I make because they're two incomes. Right. And both of the wife and the husband are both near 200,000.
And that's why I think I like your channel as well, because a lot of times you would see two incomes opposed to just one income. Even though you are a high earner, it looks good to see one person budgeting their money opposed to, okay, yeah, sometimes somebody can do it a little bit faster if they have another person, but yeah, that's one thing that I like.
And it's like, so with them, they have debt, they have all the debt. They, you know what I'm saying? They're not, just because they make way more than I make, they're not in a great financial situation.
So that is a myth. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You have to,
No, because I would say the thing about it is who you are is going to be who you are if you don't change your habits. If you make $20,000 a year, the habits you make at $20,000 a year, you're going to make those same habits at $200,000 a year. It's just going to get bigger. Instead of driving or whatever, you're going to say, I need a Maserati. Or, you're just going to make more extravagant and you're going to keep yourself in debt and keep yourself, as Dave Ramsey says, slave to somebody's lender.
And I think that's why the Dave Ramsey principles are good, because especially if you are making a lower income right now, get those principles under your belt and really do the right thing, so that when you start making more money, you're golden.
Exactly. And so for me, discovering Dave Ramsey, after I started doing Googles about what to do with my money, what I should be doing with my money, how should I get started with my money, Dave Ramsey kept popping up. And I was like, oh, what's that? Just that guy that they were talking about in the office. And so I said, well, let me just, because I'm a person who I say, before I say something that don't work, I'm like, let me try it on my own personal experiment. So I said, let me try his steps. Step 1, get out of debt. That was hard for me, guys. No, save $1,000.
Yeah. So
the step 2 was get out of debt. That was hard. Because I felt like even though I had the money saved, I did not want to mess with my safety net.
Right. And a lot of people kind of think that way, to where they don't want to use the credit to live their life and then hold their money. Why do you think Dave says to have only $1,000 and then tackle the debt with only $1,000?
And the reason why he says to do that, which makes so much sense, is because he wants you to feel uncomfortable.
Right.
If you feel uncomfortable, you're going to be that much more aggressive to pay off your debt so that you can have more money. People say, well, $1,000 isn't enough. It was never meant to be enough. But you know what I find? Because you don't really do your budgets on your channel, right?
I do. I'm going to start doing it more.
Okay, because I know on your channel you talk a lot about financial news that's happening. What's happening with the stimulus checks? What's happening with student loans? What's happening with different? You also cover credit cards and perks and stuff like that. But I was gonna say, what I noticed when I watch a lot of financial videos with people doing their budgets, and they may still have debt, they have a whole bunch of funds, sinking funds.
I don't
above and beyond
$1,000.
Okay. You know what I mean? So I find that if you don't do $1,000, you will give yourself permission to just start saving all kinds of money that could be going to debt, and it's not going to debt because in your mind you're like, but I need this.
But let me ask you this: during the time that we're in, 2020, would you say that you should have more? Even if you're starting a new journey, if let's say somebody's starting their baby step 1, you don't think so?
Nope. And the reason why I don't think so is because you ain't been having more, okay? So let's not get brand new now. I mean, think about it. A lot of people
That's true. That's a great.
Like, don't get brand new.
Okay.
You're just using it as an excuse to not complete a journey.
Because, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, now people that are doing the Dave Ramsey, they only have $1,000, and now what do they say?
But guess what? This pandemic ain't the first financial crisis we've been in.
Right.
You know what I mean? People have been losing jobs. There have been government shutdowns.
Yeah.
There have been recessions. This is not the first.
Yeah, because 2009, that was the big one.
And so my thing is, just do the steps in order and get yourself out of there. Otherwise, it's going to still be your story next year, the year after, the year after, the year after. Let's stop playing games and you know, handle our business.
Okay. Now, out of all of the baby steps, tell us, what baby step are you on now?
I'm on baby step 6.
Baby step 6. Now, what's baby step 6?
I'm paying off my house. I'm working to pay off my home.
Yes.
Yeah. And so my thing is, so all my debt is gone, and I'm working. My house is valued at about $750,000. I owe about $330,000 on the home. And so my goal is to always pay it down by $50,000 a year. Pay off the principal by $50,000 a year. And that for me is comfortable because, like you, I still believe in enjoying my life.
Okay.
I'm not going to give up travel because nothing's promised. You know, I have a great friend who, you know, she was living her life of doing whatever. But again, you make these plans to retire. She had her 50th birthday and passed away. Yeah, I remember. So she never made it to retirement. You know, so my thing is, I just like to take things in stride. While we're planning for a future, we also know that that future may never happen. But what we do have for sure is today. We have today for sure. And we have the memories we build today. But we're not building those memories forsaking everything else. We're not doing that, you know. So yeah. So I would say, even though I say the $1,000 because that's Dave Ramsey's thing, I would say, because it is personal. Right. Sometimes we do have to assess our own personal lives and see what makes sense, and not just save because we're afraid.
That is good.
Like I did. I saved because I was afraid, and I felt like I needed this cushion, and I kept debt around like a pet because, you know. So yeah.
Now, out of all of the
You are
baby
a great
steps,
interviewer, girl.
No,
but
you're-
I just want to say that. But go ahead.
out of all of the baby steps, which one was the easiest and which one was the hardest?
I'm gonna say the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest was paying off my dad.
Really?
Because it was a mental. I had
Okay,
to
yeah,
get
you
my
said
mind
okay.
right.
You're a saver more. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so I had to get my mind right to part with my money.
Mm-hmm.
I had to brainwash myself. I had to recondition my thinking. Hence, finding YouTube, watching a lot of videos
Yes.
to get myself in a like-minded community, virtual.
That's what I was gonna say. Having that community accountability in an instance because you were recording your videos.
That's why I started recording my
Okay.
videos. Yep. Because before that, I was like, my first video is horrible. I had the camera all wrong. I was writing in the light pink pen as if y'all can see it. It's still up there, but you know what I mean? But I didn't know anything about YouTube. You know,
Yeah, it's
I
a
didn't even know
journey.
about subscribing and liking, subscribing, like, you know, I didn't know anything
Right.
about any of that stuff.
Okay.
So yeah,
That was the hardest. Now, what is the easiest of the baby steps?
the easiest for me, it's so funny. My hardest is my easiest too.
Really?
Once I got my mind right, the easiest was paying off debt.
But you know why I think that is because once you start seeing that number go down, it really gets you excited
Yes.
to say, I want this gone. I want this gone.
Yes.
And you will kind of sacrifice a little bit because even though I would say I'm more so Dave Ramsey inspired, once you start seeing how good you can do, you will sacrifice a little bit to get to where you
when
need
I
to go.
realized I don't like debt. I don't
Yeah.
like owing people.
Mhm.
And if I do, it is on my own terms.
Right.
Because I will take, like, let's say, like a loan or a credit card thing that says 12 months, no interest.
Right.
Because money is a tool, and I make all of these things work for me.
Mhm.
But because I know I don't want to pay anybody anything more, such as in interest, I'm going to pay junk off.
Right.
So that's why I say it was my hardest,
Okay.
but then it was also my easiest because I like to pay off bills. I get
Right.
excited when I pay off bills.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah.
Okay, now any final things that you want to add before we go?
You know what? I don't, y'all. Oh my goodness. This is just such a freaking blessing and an honor and a dream to just even be here in freaking Nashville, Tennessee.
Now, how do you like Nashville so far?
First of all, I've never been to Tennessee. This is why I'm here, because I'm like, okay, we can't really travel outside of the country. So where have I not been? And here, this kept popping up. And then the plane ticket was good. The price was right. Budget life. Ain't nobody playing. And then I get to meet you know, and so we got here yesterday. We really didn't do much yet.
Okay.
We're looking forward to eating. We're going to
Yes.
eat our way through Nashville.
Okay, we're going to Slim and Husky today, y'all.
I'm like, Nashville is all about the food. And then we want to do honky tonks and stuff.
Okay.
Do you like country music? Because you're
Okay.
born and raised here.
I am. Born and
Okay.
raised here, so never moved.
But you're not a country. Because I just figure everybody in Nashville should be like.
Hilarious. Now, the only thing about it is because I'm sure that you've heard that they had the bombing downtown. So I don't really know how much of downtown
It looked like it was thriving yesterday, right?
was it. Okay.
Yeah, they had the streets blocked up.
Okay.
Yes, they had the bombing. And see, that battery's about to die. They had, maybe I'll just keep talking till it dies. But they had the bomb and they had the streets blocked off, but we were still able to, yeah.
Okay.
But in the meantime, guys, the battery's about to die, so we're going to end this. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, go ahead and check out the Major Change Group, Tasha's YouTube channel, and don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, talk to us in the comments below, and we will meet you there.